I created a lot of the materials it all stems from the Wonders curriculum. I would say two parts of it is that the center activities and then also the rotation schedule. So the curriculum materials are from the leveled readers are from the Wonders curriculum, and we're fortunate enough to have copies of those readers. So that came straight from the Wonders curriculum. And then I've created center activities. I'm typing out information from the Wonders curriculum and transferring it into a center activity, but still using the vocabulary review cards that comes with the Wonders curriculum. The phonics activity, those come from the phonics and grammar practice workbook. And also, and I created a couple of my own worksheets, or actually for today, there was just one worksheet that I had created. But everything's organized in a way that it's easy to pass out and clean up as well, and I can use them over and over again. As far as the center rotation schedule, that's something that I've created with assistance from and input from those that are supporting me with CREED and integration in my class, which is the small group instruction. And then from there, I created the student rotation cards, and so that, that's really probably, if I didn't have those rotation cards and have for the students to exactly know where they're going to be the first and second and third rotation, things would be a lot messier. Probably would be, having each child know exactly where they need to be without referring to a board, and they just have a strip in front of them. That makes the transitions much smoother, and it cuts down on a lot of classroom management problems and behavior problems that could arise from crowding around to look at one board, and then they also get to take ownership. And it's exciting that they each have their own card that tells them where they need to be at a certain time. I chose them because they are directly related to the learning targets that we're working on with this unit in the Wonders and this week's assignment. So I looked at the essential question, and the essential question is about what do we see when we look in the sky. And a lot of it was related to sun and moon phases and stars. So I thought of bringing in other materials, like with the What Makes Day and Night, which is a book that tells about why we have sunlight and moonlight. And so it just fit nicely with the topic, and further provides an extension into the science area for the students. I like that they're organized, that I can use them over and over again for each unit and each week of instruction. And I like to keep some things, it's hard, you can't reinvent the wheel every week. So there's some center activities that might change, but for the most part, I'm using the same materials and just updating it as the new topic comes along. I don't think I would make any changes to the materials that I use today. I'll probably still do a little bit more thinking about what I can do to refine the teacher center so that students do have an opportunity to write something. So I was thinking that I could have used sequencing cards. I could have used a fill in the blank or some type of a, made more of a puzzle activity. So there's, always, we always have these great ideas of how we can make things better. And then the reality sets in, and sometimes you only have as much time as you have. So you have to do the best with the materials that you have. But definitely creating the more hands-on that I can make the activities, the more engaged my students will be, and the higher their learning and their attitude towards school will be positive. A lot of times we're looking at the skills that they need in order to be successful readers, and that sequencing is something they will need. So at the second grade level, they may not necessarily know what the relevance is, but that's part of that, building that foundation and then creating that higher interest level. So they do want to do the activities, and then it becomes relevant because they're making the choice to be a reader. And when they go and they read, and they in their lives, at home, in the future, next year, when they're taking the state assessment, that hopefully all of those skills and that interest in being a good reader is just ingrained into them.